always thought the walls between our homes were thick enough to keep in laughter, arguments, secrets, and pleasure. But I guess I was wrong. It started with the glances. From the moment Jace moved in next door, he was polite, reserved, a little too quiet, always watering his plants the same time I stepped out to take the trash, always offering to help carry groceries, even when I had just one bag. My boyfriend, Trevor, joked about it once. "Your neighbor's got a crush." He smirked, "Must be the yoga pants." I laughed, I thought it was nothing. Until the night I caught Jace staring at our bedroom window. It wasn't subtle. He stood in his driveway, lights off, hands in his hoodie pocket, eyes fixed on our shadows dancing against the blinds. I didn't tell Trevor, I didn't want to start something, but from that night on, I started closing the blinds tighter. And then I noticed things. The soft knock on my door when Trevor was away. The anonymous flowers with no note left on my porch. The way Jace said, "Good morning," with this deep stare. Like he knew something about me I didn't know about myself. Then it happened. Last night, Trevor and I had just finished. Well, you know. He went to shower, and I got up to get water. That's when I felt it, the sensation of being watched. I turned, and there he was, outside, in my bedroom window. His breath fogging up the glass, his eyes locked on me, and his hand moving. I froze, my pulse thundered in my ears. He didn't flinch, didn't stop. He was there, touching himself while watching me. Like this was a movie he'd watched 100 times in his head. I yanked the curtain closed with a gasp, my hand trembling. Trevor called out, asking if everything was okay. I didn't answer, because suddenly, everything made sense. The looks, the flowers, the way he avoided Trevor like he was competition. He didn't just have a crush, he was obsessed. And now I can't sleep, because I don't know what he saw. I don't know what he heard. But worst of all, I don't know what he plans to do next. That night, I barely slept. Every creak of the floorboards felt like a whisper. Every shadow felt like him. Trevor noticed my silence the next morning. "You good, babe?" he asked, towel still around his waist, hair dripping from the shower. I nodded too quickly. "Yeah, just weird dream." I couldn't tell him, not yet. I watched from the kitchen window as Jace left his house in a navy hoodie, sunglasses on even though it was cloudy. He walked past my car slow, deliberate. He didn't glance at the window, but he knew I was watching. I needed answers. So I did something stupid. I waited until Trevor left for work. Then I walked next door. 3 soft knocks, no response. But I knew he was home. The door creaked open just a sliver, and Jace appeared, barefoot, his shirt slightly crumpled like he'd been in bed all morning. "Hey," he said, voice low, "didn't expect you." I should have walked away. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. "I need to talk," I said. He opened the door fully, "Then come in." The moment I stepped inside, I felt it. The walls were covered with art, photographs, charcoal sketches, and then I saw it. A painting of me, lying on my bed, my hair spread on the pillow, my mouth slightly parted. It wasn't an exact replica, but it was me. My body, my moans, his fantasy. I took a shaky step back. He watched me, calm still. "I never meant to scare you," he said. I hear you, at night when you're with him." He moved closer, "And I fall in love with the way you sound." My skin crawled. I turned to leave, but he blocked the door with one arm. "I would never hurt you," he whispered. "I just want to be the one who makes you feel like that, not him." I didn't scream. Not yet. I smiled slowly. "I forgot my phone," I lied. "Let me go grab it, then we'll talk." He paused, nodded. "Let me pass." And the moment I stepped outside, I ran. I didn't go home. I drove straight to the end of the street, heart pounding like a drum. I finally understood. This wasn't just obsession. It was a fixation. He wasn't watching us out of curiosity. He believed he was part of us, and that made him dangerous. I parked 2 streets away and sat in the car. Clutching the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping me from floating out of my body. My phone buzzed Trevor, but I couldn't tell him, not yet, not until I figured out how deep this went. Because what Jay said back there, "I just want to be the one who makes you feel like that." It wasn't a fantasy anymore. It was a warning. I stared at the rearview mirror, expecting to see him behind me. He wasn't, but still, I didn't go home. Instead, I drove to the library. Not for books, for the computer. I Googled his name, Jace Millerton. Nothing, no social media, no LinkedIn, no high school records, just silence. But when I searched my street name and scrolled past all the real estate listings, I found something. An old news article from 8 years ago. Man found guilty in Peeping Tom case. Sentenced to psychiatric treatment. The photo was blurry, but it was him. Jace wasn't his real name. He'd legally changed it after being discharged from a facility upstate. I felt like the floor disappeared beneath me. He'd done this before. He'd been caught, But this time, he wasn't peeking through blinds. This time, he was in love with my voice. With me. And I had no idea how far he was willing to go to make that love feel real. When I finally got home that evening, the sun was setting. Trevor was on the couch, scrolling on his phone. "Hey, where have you been?" he asked casually. "Tried calling. Had to clear my head," I mumbled. I was about to sit beside him when something caught my eye. A small box on the kitchen table, wrapped in plain brown paper. No note. "Did you order something?" I asked. Trevor shook his head. "Nope, that was on the porch when I got home." I approached it slowly. My gut screamed at me to leave it alone, but I opened it anyway. Inside, a pair of red lace panties. Mine, washed, folded, and sitting on top of them, was a tiny recorder. I pressed play, and my voice filled the room. Breathless, moaning, whispering Trevor's name. I dropped it like it burned me. Trevor's face went pale. "Where the hell did he get that?" he whispered. I didn't have to answer, because the truth was already here. He'd been inside, not just watching, inside, and if he could get in once, he could do it again. Trevor was pacing. I could see his fists clenched, jaw tight. "I'm calling the cops," he snapped. "Right now." But I grabbed his arm. Wait, are you serious? He broke into our home, I know, but we don't have proof he did it." And as awful as it sounded, I needed more. Because what if he deleted everything? What if he disappeared before they found him? I needed him caught. So that night, we locked everything. Windows, doors, even the attic. Trevor put a chair under the bedroom knob like in the movies. And I didn't sleep. At 2:13 a.m., I heard it. The softest creak. Not from the front, from the back window. I slid out of bed, heart pounding in my ears. Trevor stirred but didn't wake. I grabbed my phone, opened the camera, and tiptoed down the hallway. The backyard light had been broken for months. We kept meaning to fix it. But that darkness tonight, it felt like it belonged to him. I pressed my face near the curtain, phone ready. And then, he was there, not inside, but crouched just beyond the window. His eyes were wide, wild. His hoodie was pulled low, and in his hand was a key. I gasped. The camera clicked. His head snapped up, and he ran. I yelled for Trevor, and we bolted out the front door. But Jace, if that was even his name, was gone. The fence gate swung open. The street was quiet. Trevor was furious. How did he get a key? But I was staring at the window frame. There, just under the sill, scratches, tiny ones, like it had been forced, again and again, until it finally gave way. This wasn't new. He'd been coming in for weeks, maybe months. My breath caught. I turned to Trevor. "Trevor, what if he's been watching us sleep?" He didn't answer. He didn't have to. Because deep down, I think we both already knew. Jace never fell in love with me. He fell in love with the idea of me. And now, that idea was slipping from his grip. And people like him, they don't let go easily. The police came the next morning. They looked around, took the recorder, jotted notes. But without fingerprints or footage, they couldn't do much. "Just stay alert," one officer said. Stay alert. I hadn't slept in 2 days. Trevor wanted to install cameras immediately. But I needed more than security. I needed answers. Real ones. So while he handled the tech, I went back to the library. I searched the address this time, Jace's house. And that's when something terrifying surfaced. That home had been vacant for 11 months before he moved in. But the lease, signed 6 months ago, had no verified ID. The landlord, who lived in another state, just wanted to fill it quickly. He took the cash, no questions asked. So who was he really? I drove home slowly, eyes scanning every mirror, every sidewalk. When I pulled into the driveway, I saw Trevor mounting a camera above the porch. Relief until I noticed something else. The mailbox, a single white envelope. No stamp, no address. Just my name written in shaky blue ink. I didn't open it outside. I waited until I was in the kitchen. Every light on, Trevor watching. Inside was a photo, not printed, Polaroid, of me, asleep. From above, my face peaceful, my mouth slightly parted, the comforter pushed off one shoulder, taken from the corner of our bedroom ceiling. Trevor muttered, "What the hell?" But I couldn't speak. My legs were trembling. Then I turned the photo over. Written in the same ink as the envelope, "You're the dream I've waited my whole life for. And dreams don't belong to strangers." My blood ran cold, because suddenly, I remembered something. Last month, our smoke detector wouldn't stop beeping. Trevor had taken it down and left it on the dresser, planning to replace it. But that was right around the time I started feeling watched. We just never got around to putting it back. I ran to the bedroom, Trevor on my heels. We pulled the ceiling vent cover, dust and shadows, and behind it, a tiny black lens. He hadn't just come in. He'd moved in, silently, secretly, recording our love, our sleep, our life. And now he believed it was his, We didn't wait. That same night, we tore the place apart. Closets, attic, vents, every hidden space became our battlefield. We found 2 more cameras, one behind a bookshelf in the hallway, another tucked into the base of a bedside lamp. Trevor couldn't stop shaking. "I swear I'm going to kill him," he kept muttering, but I couldn't feel anger yet. Only violation. That night, we booked a hotel. We weren't safe here anymore. But before we left, I left him a message. I stood in our bedroom, turned to the wall where I knew he'd watch. I stared at the lens and whispered, "I know what you are, and next time you won't get away." We stayed at the hotel for 2 nights. On the 3rd morning, Trevor went to check the house. He called me from the driveway. "You're not going to believe this," he said. The back window, the same one Jace had crept near, was smashed in. Not broken by accident, broken inward, inside the living room. Someone had left a chair in the middle of the room, and on that chair, under a sheet of clear plastic, sat a red candle. Lit, burning, slowly. Beside it, another envelope. This time, the paper was soaked in something oily. Trevor didn't touch it. The police came again. They treated it like an arson threat. Took fingerprints, bagged the items. But once again, no name, no ID. Just one clear message. He didn't care if we knew anymore. He wanted us afraid. And it was working. That night, I cried in the hotel bathroom while the water ran so Trevor wouldn't hear. Because even behind locks and cameras, I felt his breath on my skin, his presence in my bones, his obsession like smoke in the air. And then came the final blow. A notification popped up on my phone. An email, no subject, no sender. Just one image. Me, standing in the hotel bathroom. Moments ago. Taken from behind. He had followed us, found us, and now, he was inside again. I screamed. Dropped the phone like it burned me. Trevor burst into the bathroom, eyes wide. "What happened?" I couldn't speak. I just pointed. The phone was still glowing on the floor. The photo of me, from behind, taken just moments ago. Trevor's hands shook as he picked it up. His lips moved, but no words came out. He turned toward the bathroom mirror, toward the reflection of the half-open window above the tub. His jaw clenched. He bolted out of the room and yanked the curtains aside. "Nothing," he growled. "He's gone." But he wasn't. He was never gone. He was always close, always watching. The hotel security helped us search the area, but they found nothing. And the window? Unlocked, probably since check-in. That night, I didn't sleep. Neither did Trevor. We sat back to back on the bed, staring at opposite doors, phones clutched, hearts racing. Waiting. But morning came, and he didn't strike. He wanted us to wait, to unravel, to feel powerless. We decided to go back to the house, with a locksmith, police escort, and a private investigator I'd found at 3 a.m. His name was Eli, a former cop, gruff, blunt, the first person who actually believed me. He walked through our home like a ghost hunter. Then he stopped in the hallway, lifted a picture frame, and smiled coldly. "There it is," he said. A hole drilled behind the frame, thin wire. "Listening device," Eli said. "Cheap, amateur, but it works." And then, just when I thought I couldn't be shocked anymore, Eli turned to the baseboard, pulled it away. Inside the wall, nestled between insulation and wires, was a small, black notebook. Handwritten. He handed it to me silently. I opened the cover. My name, over and over, hundreds of times, and then full sentences. She wore the purple shorts again. Her laugh vibrated against my chest, even though I wasn't touching her. "He doesn't deserve her. I've seen the way he moves. She moans, but not for him. For me, always for me. When she finally looks into my eyes, she'll remember. We were meant to start something before we were born." Pages and pages. Delusion. Desire. Darkness. It wasn't just obsession anymore. It was fantasy rewritten as fact. And I had no idea how far Jace would go to make that fantasy real. I sat on the living room floor with the notebook in my lap, my fingers numb from turning the pages. Trevor hovered over me, his fists clenched. Eli, the private investigator, knelt beside us. He didn't speak. He didn't have to, because the words inside that notebook were louder than anything anyone could say. Each page was a window into Jace's unraveling mind. He'd watched every detail of my life, what I wore, what I ate, when I cried, when I laughed. He even knew when I faked a laugh, when I fought with Trevor, when I whispered to myself. But one entry stopped me cold. "She'll be alone Friday night. He's working the night shift. She always eats late when she's sad. That's when I'll give her the gift. She'll know it's from me. She'll feel safe when I'm near. Then I'll show her how good I am with my hands. Gently, slowly, like I've practiced 1,000 times." I stared at the date above it. It was 3 nights from now. He was planning something more than just watching. Eli snapped the notebook shut. "He's escalating," he muttered, "and fast." Trevor looked at me, we're leaving, tonight, somewhere far. But Eli shook his head. He'll follow. And if you run, you'll never know when he'll strike. He paused. You want him gone for good. I nodded, scared of my own answer. Eli stood. Then we set a trap. We spent the next 2 days prepping. Cameras in every corner. Motion detectors. A live link to the police. And on Friday night, I did exactly what he expected. Trevor left the house, driving in circles before parking on a neighbor's lawn. I stayed in. Alone. Lights dimmed, curtains open. Wearing the sweater I knew he'd written about. And I sat at the kitchen table, eating late, just like he said I would. Minutes passed, then an hour. Silence, then, tap, on the window. I didn't turn. I just stood and walked to the sink, like I hadn't heard. Another tap, soft but closer. Then a whisper, don't pretend, I know you're ready. I spun, and there he was, pressed to the glass, eyes wild, breath fogging the window. One hand on the frame, the other holding something behind his back. He smiled, and mouthed, let me in. I didn't move, didn't blink. My heart thundered like it wanted out of my chest. But my face stayed calm, just like Eli taught me. Jace stood outside the window, waiting for me to unlock the door. His hand slowly lifted to reveal what he was hiding. A single red rose. Plastic, the stem wrapped in ribbon. He thought this was romantic. I'm here, he whispered through the glass, just like I promised. I said nothing, just backed away slowly like I was scared, but not screaming. He slid his fingers along the window's edge. Don't be afraid, baby. You don't need him. You've never needed him. That's when the porch light flickered. Once, twice. It was the signal. Eli and Trevor were watching from the van across the street. The moment Jace touched the window again, they'd act. But Jace noticed the light too. His smile dropped. His eyes scanned the street. And then, he bolted. He ran along the side of the house, straight for the back door, the same way he'd broken in before. But this time, he wasn't alone. The second he touched the handle, boom, Eli and 2 officers tackled him to the ground. He fought like an animal, screaming my name, clawing at the air. She loves me, he shrieked. You're ruining it, she chose me. They cuffed him while he thrashed. I watched from the window, knees shaking, hands over my mouth. Jace wasn't just obsessed. He was gone. They found more in his house later. Photos, voice recordings. A journal with our wedding, vows written by him. He'd planned a life with me, one that never existed. He was taken to a psychiatric facility under court order, declared unfit to stand trial. And just like that, he was gone. But his shadow stayed. For weeks, I still jumped at every creak. For months, I kept my curtains closed. And every time Trevor held me at night, I felt safer, but never quite the same. Because Jace didn't just break into my house. He broke into my mind. And some locks take longer to change than others.